This week's Here Now focuses on films and food, so what's not to love? It's about an idea for a documentary cooked up by two young Sri Lankans who met in the kitchen of a cafe in Otipoti, Dunedin.
It's so funny looking, eh?
Hold it.
Two curious filmmakers from Aotearoa on a hot hillside to the northeast of Colombo.
I think it could be them. Because it looks like this will come off. Oh, that's gotta be one. That's good.
Pulling apart a mysterious seed pod from a tree,
Oh, it's amazing.
hoping to find an elusive spice in the wild.
We found it.
We found it.
We picked it.
And they told us we wouldn't find cardamom today. Nice try, suckers.
Back to the cardamom chase shortly, but we start in Otipoti. By contrast, here it's a rainy, wet Dunedin day, and we're at the university, Lindo Ferguson building. About to meet,
Bhagia Janithri Herath. I am a master's student.
you heard her just now on the Film Rushes, getting super excited about cardamom. Hi, how's it going?
Good, thank you.
Good. You're going to show us your lab.
Yeah, we're in the Department of Physiology. The lab is upstairs.
Which is where Bhagia spends her days getting spat at. Don't worry, it's fine. That's what you're after when you're collecting saliva.
Okay, so this is a collection kit. There's a little bit of the stabilising fluid at the bottom. This funnel here goes on instead of the top, and you spit into there. You want to spit up to this line here. It's not a lot.
Bhagia's working on a spit test to detect heart disease. Human physiology's her thing.
I was always a kind of a little freaky guy when my parents used to get fish and stuff, and whole fish, and I'd love to look at the gills and things like that. And also just knowing how my own body worked really intrigued me.
That intrigue got Bhagia into the study of metabolic disorders like obesity, diabetes and heart disease, and how they're connected to food.
Understanding how good food affects our life.
There's that old saying, you are what you eat. Is that true?
The science says yes, to an extent. I'm Sri Lankan. I was born in Colombo, and then my mum brought me over here when I was about a year old, and my dad had migrated before with a job.
Bhagia was schooled in Wellington and came to sunny Dunedin to do health sciences. 4 years in, she got an intriguing invitation
I am standing amongst many coconut trees right now.
to front a food documentary in Sri Lanka, directed and shot by Carl Naus.
Hi, Carl.
Kia ora, Phil. Come on in.
Thank you.
My dad was born in New Zealand to Dutch parents, and my mother was born in Sri Lanka. Came over here when she was a teenager with her family. And that's how I came to be like this.
Carl moved from Tamaki Makaurau to Otipoti with the idea of setting up a collective bakery cafe, and he did it. It's called Yours.
Yours is a worker cooperative, which means it's like owned and operated by the workers. The people who do the work are the people who make the decisions, who also own the business. I thought a weekly Thursday slot of doing a Sri Lankan home-style banquet would be something that would fit into the kaupapa of the space and also like just be a great thing for the community.
One night, Bhagia was walking past the cafe and saw a sign.
And it says Hari Rasa, which was in Sinhala.
So what does that mean in English?
It means really tasty. Yeah, and it was in Sinhala. I was like, oh, well, there's a Sri Lankan here. What are they up to?
Bhagia came in for the food and stayed for the philosophy.
I just kind of melted in almost. I guess I wanted to figure out what Aya was doing with all this food stuff. On Thursday nights, we make family-style Sri Lankan food at Cooperative Cafe Yours, based right here in Otipoti. Welcome to Hari Rasa.
Me and Bhagia definitely like try to take care of the Sri Lankans a little bit, you know, like coddle them a little, make sure they've got enough rice. Oh, there was one time there was this table of aunties, these 3 middle-aged Sri Lankan women came in, and me and Bhagia were so
Terrified.
nervous. Like, they are. Well, like I said, the Italians, right? The Italians of Asia,
Absolutely.
If they don't like it, or if they think something can be improved, they will tell you. And they seemed happy, so that was really nice.
Most dishes are rice-based.
Rice is life, as we like to say.
Sri Lankan cuisine, Carl says, tends to centre around rice curry.
And obviously, there's a lot of other stuff as well. They've got like appo, which is like a fermented rice flour pancakey thing, and all these other kind of funny preparations of ground up rice and potatoes and all sorts of things. But the rice and curry, that's the middle of the whole thing, you know?
And it's spicy, really, really spicy.
Spicier than most Indian food. I don't know why they like it like that, but they do.
And do you like it like that?
I love it like that, yes.
Carl has been sourcing his spicy spices and other foods straight from Sri Lanka through fair trade organisations. He was planning a trip there to see family.
I was travelling to Sri Lanka just as a holiday initially, and then I thought, I should probably go visit some of the sources of some of our ingredients.
With a background in video production, Carl thought, why not document the visit?
And then one night I was hanging out with Bhagia and I was like, wait, Bhagia, you should just come with me and then we can make a proper film about this. You can be the presenter, I'll shoot and do the directing, and then it'll be fine. She doesn't have any experience doing anything like this before, but she's curious and good at talking to people and knows how to smile.
Okay. And by that time, I didn't even know the guy very well. So I was like, oh, God, this could go one of 2 ways. But it turned out fine.
I think we wanted to tell the full story of both the cuisine, its like cultural context for us and what it means for us as members of the Sri Lankan diaspora, but also talking about some of that stuff around food production and the way that food is produced and possibly can it be done in ways that are ecological and socially just, you know what I mean? And maybe those things are kind of tied together.
It's so easy to go and buy something from the supermarket and not think about anything else, about where this food has come from or anything.
I'm not sure if people in New Zealand understand that relationship between a rich country like ours and a country that's being extracted from like that. And I think we're so acutely aware of it, we wanted to bring that story out in a way that is entertaining and fun and delicious.
They went into homes and kitchens,
My handiwork, not so good, Auntie says, yeah.
plantations and farms.
We took a right turn into someone's candy and forest garden.
And he had this amazing, this like an acre around his house with like banana trees and coconuts and coffee and lemons and papayas and chilies and all this stuff growing in this like multi-layered magical little forest. For us, that's quite amazing. Like, you know, this whole like forest garden thing is like quite trendy in the West now, but I think for a lot of the world, that's just how they eat and have been for a very long time.
Carl and Bhagia went searching for particular ingredients that they use in the cafe.
These are baby cinnamon plants all around us. Acidic, a little punchy. Smells like turmeric.
And they were determined to locate cardamom, mainly because they were told they'd never find it.
We're on a hot wee trail, and I think we're gonna get there.
On a remote mountainside, their persistence finally pays off.
I can't believe it.
We did it. We found what we were looking for. Got cardamom pods fresh off the tree. Pretty stoked with that, eh?
Their food odyssey also led to some grim discoveries. The things that Sri Lankan food producers have to cope with on the day-to-day.
Horror stories of, farmers making little to no money, or they've had a really bad weather season and they can't grow another year. And the situation is so dire that maybe they would consider committing suicide.
They heard about one near suicide from the man who started Podi, the fair trade organisation the cafe buys from.
When he was in uni around my age, he was taking a train and the train stopped really suddenly because there was a person that had gotten off their bike and put their neck to the train line. And the uncle got down, asked him why he was doing such a thing. And he was a farmer, and he said, you know, my last chili crop this season, nothing came out of it because of the weather, and I had paid 2,000 rupees for the chili seeds, and now I can't pay back this debt. So I was, you know, so 2,000 rupees, the exchange rate is probably different now, but it's like $10,
Wow.
you know? Yeah. You just don't know what, you know, like to think to do that to yourself and your family over $10, you know, it's just unfathomable.
Bhagya reaches the end of the trip at the waterfront in Colombo. Dusk globes on the food stalls, glowing like full moons.
It's really changed things for me, I think. My world kind of blew up a little bit. Like, you don't understand how privileged you are, really, in places like Aotearoa. Yeah, to know that every day I've been, like, you know, just consuming. There's just, like, this question mark of where has everything come from? And what are the people like? What have they had to go through for me to live in such excess and comfort so far? I'm only 23. I've got so much years of consuming to do probably, but it'll definitely be more informed.
I think a lot of people who do go in this direction of like wanting to understand food supply chains or the production of things approach it in a very black and white moralistic way, where does it have the sticker on it? Does it have this? Does it have the climate neutral sticker? Does it have the organic sticker? Does it have the fair trade sticker? But all those things, sure, they give us some information, but they also obscure a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like there are a lot of organizations that might just be box ticking to try and get the sticker and are missing out on other things. Like it doesn't tell you if the person who's growing the pepper is having a good time. Like,
But most people can't afford to go to the place where the food came from, and they've got to accept it on trust, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah. I guess in making the film and like taking that, you know, spending the money to go do it and go see all these things and then filming it and making it into a story, we're trying to like go beyond the marketizing of good food, of ethical food.
So, is there a danger of knowing too much about your food? A danger that the information will ruin the simple joy of eating?
I don't know. I think it's about the way you approach it, right? Like you can't be pure in that. You have to accept that, like, in the foods that you eat, being somebody living in a society like ours, everything you eat's going to have some exploitation somewhere down the supply chain, right? And you can't like absolve yourself of that just by eating in a certain way. Like that also doesn't fix the problem, right? Like it's much wider than like just buying the correct banana.
Big ups for listening, and thanks to Kalnas and Bhagya Janethre Harath for taking us on that Sri Lankan food odyssey. Follow and listen to Here Now wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks to Ben Pearce for the fantastic engineering, and senior producer Liz Garden for all her expert help. Bye for now. Take care. Mā te wā.